Hello, guy. Damn, you're looking fantastic today. I finally got in touch. I finally got in touch with the very first person I asked to do this thing with me, but he never responded. I really can't see why. This is the best YouTube channel. We started chatting a little a few months back, and I asked him if he would do it now, and he agreed. We couldn't set up time for us to call, but he asked me to send him the questions and he would answer them on his own. So, ladies and gentlemen, guy who just witnessed the win his very first world title at the age of 19, and then went on and win 10 more during the next 2 decades. Living legend and universally known as the Encyclopedia of Arm Wrestling, Engin Terzi.
How often do I train at the table? It is for me hard to answer because it's all up to my injuries. So I can't really train at the table so often. It totally depends on my elbow condition. When I was young, there has been times that I even pull every day. Then it became like maybe every 3 days, every 7 days, every 2 weeks. In 2015, between Europeans and Worlds, there were 4 months, and during those 4 months, I only had 2 table training. And if you ask now, real table training, maybe last 2 months I did twice. And so it is not what I choose, but it is what I can for now. So I wouldn't suggest to anyone to follow what I say because it is my own condition. There are two types of table trainings I have. One is with my students. It is like I take it easy and I hold them with normal one hand to one hand, and then maybe I try with two hands, but it is not for the purpose of winning but purpose of training, and that is usually not even an hour. But if I do a table time with other people that are coming from neighboring cities, and when we do like that, we are about 15-20 guys. So since you are not the one at the table all the time, so it is 2-3 hours, but I don't pull non-stop 2-3 hours. I pull just say 5-6 matches and then rest and then feel good again, pull with maybe another guy. Yeah, it is about 2-3 hours in that way. How is my table time looking? As I explained, if I come to table just to train technically and in a specific way, then I do this with my students. Most of the times they do with two hands, but if I am pulling with the other people, it is just like goes how it goes, But I don't usually pull with ready go matches, but mostly slow starts, and I try to enable my opponents, not opponents, but the training partners, and just put them in a position that they can apply pressure. So as long as we don't really challenge each other, it has mostly in a way to serve my ideal arm wrestling understanding. No, I wouldn't suggest the same way to do beginners. I would, for the beginners, I would suggest them to pull in all different ways and pull as much as possible, and as long as they are not injured, I would even suggest them to pull a little bit after even weightlifting, and not so much, not in a pressure way but more technical way. I would, because they are just recording their muscle memory, and I would want them to do that in every possible time, and so that they will, because they have long way to go about arm wrestling, and so they need to get used to, even after weightlifting, like maybe like 5-10 minutes even. It would be better for them to hold hand and just at least train in a muscle way, not so much pressure way, because doing the pressure every training will most likely injure them. Weightlifting and pressure, weightlifting and pressure, but without putting pressure on the joint, there is nothing wrong to do some forearm train, and I would suggest them in that way. For me, if I had a chance to do what I plan, I would just train at the table after a period of weightlifting training, that I can train each muscle group at least once, just like I need to do hammer wrists, bicep, supination, and maybe pull up and finger and pronation. I would like to do, and also some shoulder, chest, and tricep training. I would like to do train each muscle group between two table trainings. I would like to do all of them and then table training, all of them until, usually, if I'm not injured, this is every 2 weeks. Yes, everything is planned and programmed. Yeah, I have that. If I didn't understand the question wrong, yes, it's planned. It's planned, everything. This day or this training, but it is for my students only, because they are young, they are healthy. I mean, of course, there has been times that they are also hurt, but then if it's so bad, I would let them rest or just do very light blood pumping training. And if not, then every training is known what should be done. And for me, it's not. For me, it is all about my own condition. If I'm healthy, then I can do. But there has been times that I do also different things. Sometimes I just go, instead of combining like 2 or 3 different muscle groups in a day. Sometimes I just go there and just train one thing, just like go there and do bicep today, and then go there, do fingers tomorrow, next day maybe do chest, and then next day. But usually I have bicep supination and hammer wrist and lat and finger, and my pronation day is alone, just only pronation, and it is like minimum 2 hours training, because my pronation is my most specific training, and I train my pronation with a combination with sometimes finger in the wrist and the supination and all of them. And all of them has a reason to be ready against different type of pullers, because the pronation that you are using against top rollers, the pronation you are using against the hook pullers or a side pressure guy, like different type of things, not the same exact thing, So that is why for me, sometimes I also in that training only pronation alone training is there as well, but usually it is combined with something else. I can say that most of my trainings are specific training, most of them, but we can't train everything so specific. But even it doesn't seem to be specific, I still do it in the way that I feel like I'm arm wrestling. Everything I do, I try to do that. But again, most is specific and some non-specific training. I'm a believer of doing like training a muscle group very good at once, so that I won't need to do it very often. I also believe that even you are a top roller, you still need to train your supinator I mean, it doesn't matter. I think that you should be training every muscle group that is involved in arm wrestling, no matter uh, what style you are using as a main technique. And but of course, you know, if you are a hook puller, you should still train your pronator, but it will not be your main focus. If you are a hook puller, then you will be more focusing on different things. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't train pronator or any like or brachyradialis or something like that. And just because you are not a hook puller, then it doesn't mean that you shouldn't train supination or, you know, like bottom wrist tendon and things like that. You should be training all of them. In fact, you know, when you go to the table, that's your main training, and it is the most realistic training. And in that table training is, in fact, you know, shaping your pulling style, you know, because you are mainly that's the best coordination training, and then you are coordinating your muscle groups at the table in the way that you think that is right way to pull for your technique. My sets and reps, yeah. If it is not a really specific coordination training, I don't do it anything, you know, more than 2-3 sets. But if it is a specific training, I can do 3 and more. You know, it's because that is not only training a muscle, but you are coordinating them. So those coordination trainings, I do more I'm talking about the sets, but the reps. If I am like far from the main target, so I can go even up to 15 reps and 10 reps, 8 reps. But if I am really getting near and then I want to lift heavy, 5-6 reps, that is okay for me. I don't do it more than 6 reps. And the statics, you know, again, if I am far from the competition, it can be up to like 30 seconds. And then if I am near, and then 10-15 seconds is okay for me. And then, yeah, my training about if I do the full motion or the half motion as you ask, I start everything with the full motion and then continue the half motion and end up with static. This is full motion, half motion, and static. That is the way I follow. So if I could go back in time and give myself an advice as a beginner, what would that be? Only one tip. I mean, there would be many tips, but if there is only one, then I would just suggest myself to work on my hand and wrist solidness at the beginning position of arm wrestling, which in fact I already followed this advice, and I think it helped me a lot.
So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I have a lot more of these with guys like Tim Bresnan, Devon Larratt, Rustam Babai, Justin Bishop, Jeff Hale, and many more. I will leave link to the list of those videos down in the description. So make sure to leave a comment. Who would you like me to bother into one of these next? And the questions you would like me to ask them about training, of course. So anyway, hope you have a great rest of the day and see you in the next one.